And the Boston Red Sox shut out the New York Yankees 3-0. Aaron Judge had no home runs. He struck out 3 times. I'm Dick Mason. Coming up next, Sound Off with Pete Pidgeon, who is a singer-songwriter, also teaches music here in the North County.
KPRL presents Sound Off, the longest-running radio talk show in San Luis Obispo County. Sound Off on the North County's choice for local talk, KPRL. The views and opinions expressed on Sound Off do not necessarily reflect those of KPRL, its management, staff, or sponsors.
Sound Off on AM 1230, KPRL, and 99.3 FM is brought to you by Davis Body Shop, your auto collision specialist in Paso Robles and Atascadero.
This is Sound Off, where the North County comes to talk on the right choice, KPRL.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Sound Off. I'm Dick Mason, joined this afternoon by Pete Pidgeon, who is a singer-songwriter from the North County, and I heard him perform recently at North County Has Talent and thought we got to get this guy in the air because he's quite good. So first of all, welcome, Pete. Thanks for joining us.
Howdy. Thanks for having me, Dick.
So, and you brought your guitar.
Yes, sir.
And so we can hear some of your music, but a little bit of your background. You not only write songs and perform, but you also teach music.
Correct. Yes.
And this started during the pandemic?
Yeah, so when all of us musician types went forcibly out of work at the beginning of 2020 due to all the lockdowns and everything, the only way to make money really was to go back into teaching. And so I started a music school called Lessons from Anywhere, based out of Templeton. It's all online, so that originally everyone could take lessons without having to go to a music school if that school was shut down, worrying about masks and all that. You can't sing with a mask on. So doing it online through Zoom and FaceTime gave people the opportunity to continue learning during the pandemic.
And you have had a lot of academics yourself in music theory and music in general.
Yes. I have a degree from Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers in ear training and composition. And then I went to State University of New York at New Paltz for jazz studies.
Now, what is ear training?
Ear training means you can pick up music by ear. So you can hear something and then replicate it by singing it back or performing it back, and also being able to analyze what you hear so that you could say, hey, that's a major third interval, or that's a G major chord, or whatnot.
All right. Now, at this talent show, North County Has Talent, you performed a song that you wrote yourself that was kind of about this COVID experience.
Correct. It's called The Ways We Change, off my most recent record, All the Little Things. And it's just about transitions in life and how things happen and we move forward. And the pace of change often outpaces our ability to understand what's happening in the moment until we reflect on it and then think about what's gone by.
Can we hear it now?
I would love to play it for you.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's get the mics readjusted here. Is that going to work there?
I think so. There we go. All right. How's that sound to you?
Sounds good.
Okay. Hope you enjoy. It's called The Ways We Change. Littlest things add up, a little at a time, enough to fill a whole coffee cup. Most don't even notice them, but digging at their Sunday all look familiar now. In all the ways we change, nothing stays the same for long enough for us to know our way. You leave another town behind, will never find the faces that have been so kind. You'll forget more than you ever knew. Well, it's just another avenue. You're on a new one now. In all the ways we change, nothing stays the same for long enough for us to say goodbye. Dawn turns into day. The morning is a shade of gray. And you've been driving your Chevrolet all night, non-stop till you hit the west, where the mountains are the best. From Route 550 north, in all the ways we change, nothing stays the same for long enough for us to know the ways we change. Nothing stays the same for long enough for us to know our way.
Excellent. How did you think the audio engineer did here?
Oh, he did great. You're hired.
That was challenging, but
Sounded good in here.
I thought it sounded pretty good overall.
Cool.
Now this is just one of a number of songs that you've written. Am I
Correct, yes.
And you've got your own CD out?
Yep. This is All the Little Things. Levon Helm from the band played on this record before he passed on. And if you want to hear any of my other music, PetePidgeon.com is the best place for that. Or you could stream it on any major streaming platform, Pete Pidgeon and Arcoda, A-R-C-O-D-A.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just heard something interesting about popular music that it never occurred to me, is that it used to be the concerts was a way to market the music.
Correct.
Because they made money by selling records.
That's right.
Now it's the opposite. The records promote the artists so that they can go out and make money doing concerts.
Yeah, the hard part is the make money part of that last phrase. Yeah. So you're correct. The way it used to be back in the day was a advertising write-off, was a concert tour. And usually it would break even. They would break even on that, and it would advertise the record. The record would go platinum. It's not like because records are no longer selling as much as they used to that now all of a sudden concerts are paying 3 times more to offset the lack of revenue that we're getting from decreased album sales. It's still at best a break-even endeavor. So making music at this point in the game is very, very hard.
Mm-hmm. But it sounds like you've been doing this for a good number of years.
I did. My first professional concert was 1991. Septemberfest in Connecticut with my brother's band.
And are you playing live around here at wineries or anything like that?
Well, I just started playing out again because now that all the restrictions are coming down, I can start booking gigs. And it's typical that it takes a while to book gigs, 6 to 8 months out before you can start playing. So I am playing a record label showcase in Santa Barbara for Way Records September 17th at Aniricom. It's Lodi Studios. And then I'm actually going to be playing here in Paso coming up October 22nd at the Golden Oak Honey and Pumpkin Festival. So that's my next local hit.
And I believe that's just right downtown at the city park.
You got it, right at the gazebo. Yes.
So that'll be good exposure.
You got it.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear your music.
Thank you.
Now, do you play other instruments besides guitar?
I do. I play drums. I sing. I play bass, ukulele. I produce and write songs. I also compose. I've written for full symphony. Just try and keep busy. That's where my passion is.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, we're going to have to take a short break. We're talking with Pete Pidgeon, and I met Pete, or at least I heard him perform, at North County Has Talent, which was a fundraiser for the Printry Foundation, and he proved that, yeah, there actually is a lot of talent here in the North County. And if people want to get your CD, what's the easiest way to get that?
If you go to petepidgeon.com, petepidgeon.com/store, or if you don't go to the end there, you can just go to the website, and there's a link for the store on there. I've got 180-gram vinyl, I've got CDs, and also my book, Hampton 98.
All right, we'll be right back with more from Pete Pidgeon in just a moment. You're listening to Sound Off at AM 1230, KPRL. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sound Off. I'm Dick Mason, talking with singer-songwriter Pete Pidgeon, who has a website, and if you want to buy his CD, do you have more than one CD out, Pete?
I do. I've got, I think, 5, and the most recent one, All the Little Things, is a 15-song. There's slightly less on the vinyl, because only so much can fit on a vinyl. But yes, I've got at least 3 other ones out at the moment.
So you release vinyl as well?
I do, yeah.
I didn't realize that was as easy to do as CD.
It's not easy as far as expense goes. It's very expensive. It costs $20 per record production cost. So, I sell them for $29 to make a little something. But, yeah, it's hard to make them, but it's available now. It's been around for maybe 10 years, 5 or 10 years, where it's been an option.
Well, it amazes me how I'm seeing more vinyl everywhere. Even it was a recognition party for a woman who's retiring, kind of a retirement send-off, and they had a disc jockey, and he was playing vinyl.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of cool because it was a little windy outside, and the wind blew the needle across the record.
Oh, no.
And I thought, how wonderful to hear that sound again. It's been years since I heard that.
Traffic Records, I think, is right here in Paso.
Yes. Well, there's 1-2 on Traffic Way in Atascadero, right across the street from the Carlton. They got a lot of records. But
Great.
now, are you selling it at record stores or mostly online?
Well, the reason I mentioned Traffic, I'm going to head over there and see if they want to pick it up and they want to keep it in stock. Now that I'm able to get back and start playing gigs again and get it back out in the scene, I'm going to start making sure all the local stores have my materials.
So you and other musicians were really impacted by the shutdown.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Sure. Imagine radio no longer exists. It was that cold that literally you could not play a gig at anywhere in California. Anyway, I mean, you could go to Florida, you could go to Texas for sure, but in California, it was a complete lockdown. And sadly, about 40% of independent venues went under permanent bankruptcy. So now that I want to get back out, all my old contacts, they found other jobs, and band members I used to play with, they started families and got jobs, and it's like coming out of an apocalypse. It's bad.
So they're now like driving a forklift or something.
Exactly. You got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different scene.
But you seem to be still enthusiastic and you're still doing new things.
Well, I'm a lifer. I mean, it really cut the people who were not lifers and not super serious, the people who played music but people who weren't musicians. Being a musician is in my blood. It's not an option whether I play music or not. It's just I have to do this, just like I breathe and I eat.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a performance in Santa Barbara in September, and then October, the Pumpkin and Something Else Festival.
Yeah, Honey
downtown.
and Pumpkin.
I'm sorry, Honey?
Honey and Pumpkin.
Honey
yeah.
and Pumpkin. And that'll
October
be downtown at the gazebo, so people
Correct.
can see that.
Yep.
And then you'll probably be manifesting other places as
Absolutely.
time goes on.
Yep, and if anyone wants to actually book me and love what they heard, just go to PetePidgeon.com, and there's a contact button on there. You can reach out if you want to do an interview or book me for a show.
All right. You have lived in a lot of different places, haven't you?
I have, yes. I have moved 44 times in my life, and that's a full move, not just like down the street. I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Boston, all over Massachusetts, upstate New York, Denver, Los Angeles, and North County.
And your dad's in Arizona.
Yep.
But you're not going down there.
It's a little hot. You think it's hot in Paso. It's 120 down there. Yeah, it's pretty toasty. And also, I like the music scene in California. Everywhere from San Francisco all the way down through Los Angeles. Just great music scene, great musicians, great history. And I love being up here.
Well, I think it's good for the North County that you're here now, and hopefully you'll stick around for a while.
I hope so too.
And
yeah,
I think
I have
you
no
kind of
plans.
you raise the level of musicianship. You know, just the quality, and appreciate you coming on Sound Off, and I guess we'll see you next at Honey and Pumpkin.
Yes, October 22nd.
22nd.
And if anyone's interested in music lessons locally, go to lessonsfromanywhere.com, and I'd be happy to help you out on any instrument.
Now, do you do that by Zoom or do you do it in person?
Yeah, by Zoom, FaceTime. That way people don't have to spend money on gas. Gas has been so expensive. The time in the car to drive to and from a local music store can be challenging, especially with schedules. And kids, parents can take care of dinner while the kid's taking a lesson in the other room, and they can be hands off. So it's been really convenient. People have really loved it.
All right. Well, again, Pete, thank you very much for coming in, and good luck. And we'll keep an eye and an ear out for you. Probably see and hear you around the North County area in the months ahead.
Love it. Thank you so much, Dick. Really appreciate you having me.
You bet. That's going to wrap up this segment of Sound Off. The news is next. You're listening to Sound Off on AM 1230 KPRL. We'll be right back.
This hour of Sound Off on the Right Choice, KPRL, was brought to you by Orange Dot Quilts, now open in Paso Robles on the corner of 10th and Railroad. Just look for the big orange spool of thread.
AM 1230 KPRL, 99.3 FM, KPRL.com, Paso Robles, Atascadero, Templeton.